So this was a movie I was looking forward to because I like the franchise. The first movie is one of my favorite movies of all time. And I do think that some of the sequels are good too. Especially Lost World and the first Jurassic World movie. Not so much Jurassic Park 3 and Fallen Kingdom. And Dominion was entertaining enough for me just because of the returning characters. And to see them back again, even though the result wasn't great. So I was excited for Jurassic World Rebirth, because we get a new set of characters and a new story. You can just basically do whatever you want with it. And with this concept, the options are kind of limitless. You can do so much with dinosaurs and the theme of dinosaurs. And I'm really disappointed that they went with this. Because this was really disappointing. This movie takes place 5 years after Dominion. Dinosaurs are living free, and that is something interesting at its core. In this movie, Earth has become inhospitable for the dinosaurs. And they only live in selected areas, in areas that are similar to the environment where they once thrived. Dr. Zora Bennett, played by Scarlett Johansson, and the other characters around her are hired to do a job, and the job is to get biomaterial samples from the largest remaining prehistoric specimens. And that's basically the story. It doesn't really get more interesting than that. On top of that, you get some very uninteresting characters too. The main character here is really boring, Dr. Zora Bennett. She doesn't have any nuance at all. Basically just a tough female character and nothing else. Not much of a background, not much of good writing, but that you can say for almost every character in this movie. All of them are just there. None of them are very well developed. And that makes for a really uninteresting movie. Couple that with a story that is very thin, and you get a highly disappointing movie. I'm not saying that there are no fresh ideas here. We get to move on from the known characters and do something new. The problem is the new thing you are doing is not that good. Not the story, not the characters. And the 2-hour runtime feels like a chore. You get some scenes here and there that are exciting to see, that are well directed and well done, and some character moments here and there, but they don't work because the characters are not interesting, they are not well written. This franchise to me has started to feel like it has run out of ideas. They simply don't know what to do with this world, because all we are getting lately just feels uninspired. The actors do their best. There are no bad performances here. The movie visually looks great. The dinosaurs look great. The cinematography is top-notch. The production design with the sets and costume design and everything else looks good. The issue is the really awful script. And the script is basically the heart of every movie. The setup for the story is very generic. How the characters meet and how they introduce the characters is awful. This group of characters are some of the most unlikable characters I have seen in a movie. And that was not really intentional. You can have unlikable characters and that's the intent behind them, but here it's just they are really written in a bad way that you just don't care what happens to them. And you also get callbacks because these movies can't go without having callbacks to earlier movies. There are whole scenes that are reminiscent of scenes from the earlier movies, and I really mean that. You get several scenes that are from the original movie, from The Lost World, from Jurassic Park 3. Everything is in there. and it's all jumbled together with a generic story. It's just ridiculous by now. Please just stop making these movies if you can't come up with a good idea. But they won't, especially if this one makes money. And it most likely will, because this is one of the biggest franchises of all time when it comes to box office. It was suspicious that they made a Jurassic Park movie so soon after Dominion. And that should have been a warning sign, really. But because I do love this franchise overall, I gave this a chance. Especially because I do love the first movie so much. But I really do think they should retire this franchise now. Come back when you have a good idea. A good enough idea to tell a good story from, like the first movie. I know, nothing is going to be like the first movie. But they can try to make it as good as possible, as close as possible to that first movie. There's nothing wrong with that. Instead, you get a very generic movie. To me, it just looks like the producers of this movie just thought going bigger is going better. And it's just not the case. Instead, they made one of the summer's biggest disappointments for me. Well, the biggest disappointment so far. And it's not just a disappointment, it's just a bad movie. It's just not good. I want something more than just a good-looking movie visually, with a couple of standout scenes. And this is just not it. Like I mentioned earlier, I really do think they should retire this franchise, or at least take a decade off. Because the quality of these movies as it is lately is just so disappointing. And this might sound like a negative review, and it is. There are some positives about the movie, like I mentioned before, the acting, how the movie looks, and a couple of standalone scenes. But it's nowhere near as good as it should be. And I do actually think that the producers know this. They just decided to go box office over quality. And that's a shame because of how good this franchise started. The first one I really do think is a masterpiece. It's just a perfect summer blockbuster movie. And of course, it had the advantage of the novelty of seeing dinosaurs like that in that capacity for the first time. That's not really something you can do again. But it's not only that made the first movie as good as it is. The main reason was the human characters and how well written they were. You didn't even see the dinosaurs fully for a long while into the movie, and you still was engaged with the story and the characters. But that's the magic of Steven Spielberg, I guess. Even though we have the same writer for this movie, David Koepp. But Spielberg, I'm sure, had a lot of creative control over the first movie and how the script shaped up. But this movie I have to give a 4 out of 10. Good visuals, good acting, a couple of scenes that stand out, and that's it. Even though I love this franchise, I hope we don't get a Jurassic Park movie for a while now. I just advise them to take a moment and create something more special than this, because this is not to the standard. If you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. Also smash the bell icon so that you don't miss any of my future videos. This has been Phantom Frame. Thank you for watching.
This island was the research facility for the original Jurassic Park.
We need DNA from the 3 biggest dinosaurs.
Do we have to get a sample from an egg?
I suppose we could try and get it from the parent, but they're a flying carnivore the size of an F-16.
Maybe we should make it quick.